I have the great honor to introduce and interview our co-authors. And today I have coming via Colorado, via Poland, via Paris in the house. Lucky us and lucky you, all of us here in South Florida. Welcome, Malvina Messler is in the house.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! I see an Eiffel Tower right behind your head. Yes. I see all things Paris when it comes to, when I see you, all the things, the fabulous things that you do, like lead retreats. You take fabulous women to Paris and give them the most unbelievable experience. You are also a business coach. You teach quantum. You talk about quantum success, quantum leadership, all of those things that are possible for each and every one of us. So welcome to the studio, Malvina. Ooh la la.
Ooh la la. Thank you for having me, Wendy. It's such a joy to be here in your presence and in your energy. Whatever you touch is just magnetic, and I love spending time with you, collaborating, and being here in your neck of woods, creating more magic together. So thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness. Well, this is just the first. So hang on to your chairs because Malvina is going to take us on I would say a rocket ship. I was going to say like an airplane ride, but no. We're going on a rocket ship. So what made you decide when you actually heard about this book project, Becoming You, from one of our other co-authors, Suzaida? What made you decide that now is the time that you wanted to be part of this project, and especially based on the title, Becoming You? So what was a yes for you? Tell us why.
You know, so much synchronicity in this project because we know that everything happens for us in life and that we create our destiny with our consciousness. And so, long story short, I was already leading my, as you mentioned, signature Paris retreat, which is the journey of self-discovery and self-love in the city of love, Paris. And I've already been also giving presentations on how to become a CEO of your life. And so that whole concept of becoming you is really why clients come to me in the first place and the journey I took myself. And so when I heard the title, I just thought, oh my goodness, it is a perfect fit. And it couldn't be, more aligned. And so I jumped right in, and knowing your incredible reputation and hearing so many great things about your other book projects, it was a no-brainer that I should be a part of it. And I'm so glad I said yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, to actually have you physically here as we have the series of events that are kicking off the book launch. We had an event last week, Unleash Your Superpower. You were speaking there. We're having a fundraiser tonight. We're having another book party launch networking thing over the weekend. What has it been like for you to meet the other co-authors?
You know, what I love about you, Wendy, is you mentioned I teach quantum, and quantum is all about really going beyond what's possible, and time is not a limitation for me or any of my clients. And so when I said yes to this project, I was already deep in creating my Conscious Entrepreneur Network. I had other projects in my lap, and it just was so aligned that I just had to say yes. And that's kind of the power of the quantum. When you say yes to something that stretches you, that makes you uncomfortable, the universe gives you so much more back. So I thought that all I would get is become a published author. Well, it's not just that, because that's a huge deal because it's my first book. But before I knew it, I actually got a new community of incredible souls who have unique stories of perseverance, of overcoming adversity, just such inspiring change makers in the world. And so to get that new tribe, that mastermind of other entrepreneurs and healers and leaders was a huge gift. And then on top of that, I mean, Wendy Bloom is just the gift that keeps on giving. So then I find out that you're orchestrating all those incredible book launch events and even fundraising event, because today we're actually donating all the proceeds from book sale to the local charity, Pace Center for the Girls. And, you know, this is in total alignment with my core values, with what I stand for. And then having opportunity to speak, I'm a speaker myself. So anytime there is a chance for me to share, my wisdom, but also my pain, and turn it into the purpose for the people in the audience, I always say yes. And you made it really easy to say yes to coming to Florida. Even though in few days I am boarding a plane to Paris, and that was a stretch too. But like I said, when you subscribe to quantum thinking, there is no limitations. Only expansion.
I have loved the interactions and the conversations about the opportunities and the partnerships and the after parties and all the downsides. So I know you are in the midst of creating a lot, and there's a lot that's going to unfold in the years ahead. Take us back a bit on your journey to becoming you. You come from corporate, you put on events, you did all these other things, and then you had like some sort of life shift. Now, I'm not going to ask you to give away your entire chapter because you have to pick up the book that's available on Amazon to do that, but give us a little snippet, the catalyst that changed your life.
Well, there were so many, but for sure, like you mentioned, I had a 6-figure career. I was a business coach, sales and marketing coach, and I would actually work in franchising model where I would help entrepreneurs become successful with their business. And what I realized is that there was no amount of business strategy that could compensate for gaps in the mindset. Essentially, that your business, your life will never outperform your mindset. And so I decided that my time and my energy would be better spent if I really served my community of entrepreneurs and business owners, really digging deeper into those subconscious blocks, into what lurks in the subconscious, our mindset blocks, and really help people heal those traumas, drop that baggage, and step into their greatness with that ease and lightness. And for me, it was similar. I was in the comfort zone for way too long. I was, working in a comfortable job. It was very exciting, but it wasn't really aligned with my soul purpose. And so I would ask myself, what else is out there? And mind you, that I started my adult life by studying philosophy. Actually, my major was philosophy. So that took me to business, and I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't fulfilled. And that's when I went to Paris and really on that journey of getting inspired, reigniting my spark. And oh boy, did I reignite my spark. Paris just poured into me. It just was the city of abundance, high vibration, so many ideas. And I really started connecting with, in this different environment, with this pattern interrupt of not being in my home, in America, just somewhere else. And it started that journey back to myself. And when I returned, I really had the courage to quit my job and start my coaching business. And it wasn't just business coaching, but it was very much based on the mindset work. And I developed myself as a spiritual psychology coach, and then a quantum coach, and also trauma healer. And I do that for other people, but really what I got in this process is I got myself back, because I remembered who I was. I peeled those layers of the onion that were just not me. So I call it the journey of unbecoming. Before you can become the version of yourself that you desire to be, you gotta decide, like, what doesn't belong? What's just, you just borrowed it from your friends, from your coworkers, from society. And it takes some bravery to do that, because we've been conditioned to just buy into this collective dream. There's just one life, We've got those golden handcuffs, especially when we're in corporate America. And
they're tight.
yes.
And they hide the key.
You know that. That's your story too.
Yeah.
And so to really strip that and start saying, that's not me. That I don't really like that. I would say yes to those things just so I could be accepted, so I could feel I belonged. And
don't you find that people, they stay in corporate much longer, if not the duration of their entire lives, putting off saying that I'm going to do the thing that I want to do when I retire? And now because we're living longer, people are saying this is not enough. I feel like there's something more inside of me. So there is the mass exodus out of corporate into rediscover themselves. So people now are seeking, and in the coaching field, in the coaching philosophy, the stepping stones are personal growth to get there, and the mindset piece to know that, I remember hearing this for the first time, but that thoughts become things. I was like, whoa, they should be teaching that in kindergarten. I mean, why do you have to wait till your dark night of the soul or all the other things before someone says, hey, thoughts become things? They're like, whoa. So as I hear you sharing your story and your journey and the success that you've had in the corporate career, and then you talk about the personal growth and the mindset, and the quantum, but can you also touch on the piece, which is the spirituality?
Thank you for asking that, because not everyone is brave enough to actually bring that into a conversation. And for me, mindset was really the gateway to understand that we have two minds, conscious and subconscious, and really tap into the neuroscience and so forth. But as I was on that journey, I realized, gosh, there is more. There is a deeper level. And after I was, already versed in trauma work and inner work, I realized that none of that matters until you tap into your third type of intelligence. Because I believe that we have three types of intelligence. Our IQ, which is what we've grown up.
That's what we know.
Yes.
That's what everybody talks about. They have a high IQ.
Exactly. And that's what we cultivate in business world especially. Then we have EQ, and that's become more popular in the last 20 years when people...
Can you define what that is for our listeners if they don't know?
Certainly. So it's our emotional intelligence. And so we no longer hide our emotions, but we are present to it. And mindfulness is a really great practice when it comes to that breath work, yoga, and so much more. But now we see that the biggest leaders, whether you look at Richard Bransons of the world, the biggest leaders, the billionaires, the change makers, they are not shy to say that their morning practice involves meditation, and that is what I call the SQ, which is spiritual intelligence. And that's when you really connect with your inner self, with your deep wisdom inside, because we all have access to it. But sometimes we kind of we closed that door and we forgot where the key was. And we all have ability to tap into this. And that's really the way, the key to living life with more ease, with more miracles and synchronicity and...
another S, synchronicity.
Yes. And doing more with less effort. So working smart and not hard. So there is true recipe. There is a roadmap. There's a framework, and it's divine. It truly is. And so my mission is to bring consciousness, which is the spiritual, in other words, to describe spirituality, into the business world. Because I believe that in a business world is filled with leaders and change makers. And if those leaders and change makers had that ability to tap into that SQ and cultivated that spiritual intelligence, oh boy.
The sky is the limit. Oh my goodness. They can do
so much more impact.
Yeah.
So that's what I really love doing, working with people who are already successful, but they want to really feel the deep success on the inside, the peace and happiness. I
hear you.
Yes.
Yeah. The fulfillment. I hear you saying fulfillment.
Really.
And that it is possible. And the world is ready for this conversation, that it doesn't have to be religious based because there's the block there.
Absolutely.
And it opens it up if it's non-denominational. So I love the way that you break it down into those three components, talking about the mindset, talking about the EQ, and then talking about the S. So that's really very powerful to simplify, because we need it simplified. And a lot of those practices are woo-woo. So I love that you're bringing it into, like me, I love having this conversation in the midst of having a business conversation. And in the exciting thing about the entrepreneurship is that you can truly be yourself, that somebody else is not managing your life. You don't have a corporation that gives you the philosophy or the culture of the company, and that you can build your own culture because you are the CEO of your life. Of your life. You're the CEO of your life. I love it that you actually are the CEO of you in becoming you. So thank you so much for all that you shared. I'm sure there's a lot of light bulbs that are going off right now, talking about the conscious mind and subconscious mind. And that's okay, because if you have to just take it, you'll listen to this podcast again and again. You definitely want to come back and revisit this podcast and share this episode with family and friends, because sometimes we want to change somebody, right? Like we say, like, oh, I know this, or I'm starting to know this, I'm on the journey, but I wish my husband did, or I wish my parents did. This can be a nonchalant kind of way where you can just share the podcast. Like, I'm listening to this new podcast called Becoming You, and this is a really cool episode. Just share the podcast, and that way you don't become teachy and somebody's guard isn't up and all those things. So I just want to say this, because you have just shared some really powerful information and insights. So thank you. So tell us about Paris. Take us on a journey to Paris, because, I'm going to Paris this year with my husband. Also, believe it or not, my best friend, which is like the trifecta, to be able to go with both of them. And we are riding on your coattail. We're like, oh my goodness, because you are the Paris expert, and this is what you do, helping women like step into their most divine self and incorporate the self-love, but professional women. This is not a woo-woo thing where you're going to be wearing like all this garb in the back and doing, some sort of thing. Like, you're out on the Eiffel Tower and having beautiful dinners. So tell us about Paris.
Yes, you're right. This is a very unique journey. I call it the, Paris Retreat for High Achieving Women. And it is a journey that I took myself and that was profound for me. And essentially, I created this journey as a woman in business myself. So, it starts with really getting to know yourself, because there are so many women, especially in corporate America, that, we've been kind of stripped of our own identity because we want to fit in. And a lot of times we even wear, suits, pantsuits, and so forth. And I hear so many women don't even know what they like. Their colors, their self-expression is kind of lost. So I take the women on a journey of self-discovery by connecting to your soul essence. And we do that in an immersive way, because I would never take women to Paris and put them in a classroom all day. So I actually take them to the Museum de Parfum Fragonard, which is one of the oldest perfume houses in the world, and Paris is where the perfume was created, on a sensual journey of developing their own perfume scent. So they connect to their soul essence. They're not just picking, oh, do you like Miss Dior, do you like Chanel? But they actually have to formulate that based on who they are. So this is a very sensual experience. We also have a journey of really connecting to your high vibration states, to inspiration and motivation by basking in the beauty of Paris and the art of Paris on a river cruise, and just falling in love with Paris, first of all.
And yourself. And in the process, in yourself.
Yes, because my promise is that you're going to find your greatest love in Paris, and that love is going to be you. And love so the crowning moment of the retreat is actually a beautiful, beautiful photo shoot. And it's this glam photo shoot, but it's not superficial. It's actually bringing your beauty on the inside after we've already done the exercises of self-acceptance, self-compassion, really shifting our negative self-talk. So we do a lot of that deep work too. And then you emerge lighter, more connected to yourself, more in your beautiful spirit. And, the fashion style in France is such that they actually embrace natural beauty. So the makeup and hair is very minimal. And I have beautiful artists that usually do, makeup for fashion models and catwalks and celebrities. They're going to be taking care of us. So every woman will feel pampered and really celebrate that goddess within at the end of this journey. And of course, we're going to have incredible dinners because it's all about this high vibration life. And there's one more thing that happens because, why am I taking them to Paris and not to Bali? Well, I believe that a lot of women in corporate America, but in business, we just run ourselves to the ground, right? We just go, go, go. And we forget about self-care. And sure, we get our mani-pedis and massage from time to time, but there's more to self-care. And so not only I teach women who come with me self-love, but also if you can learn practices of self-care in a busy city like Paris, and you can take them to your life in a busy city in Florida,
Manhattan or Miami and all the things.
Yeah, because so many people will go on a beach vacation, and while they're at the beach, it's beautiful, they're relaxed, but then they come back to the grind again and on a hamster wheel. Yeah. So this is different because Parisians have this concept called slow living. And that is why lunches last a little longer. They really are being present in the moment. And there's this one more concept that I really love, which is concept of bon vivant. And French people really have this expression which means being good at living life. So instead good at making money, at being successful, bon vivant, be good in living your life. And that's what we're there to learn.
Oh, I love that. I love it. And so many corporate women and men, they work and they don't really take the time out for themselves. So you've just designed an experience, a way that they can do it and still feel like they're part of culture and that they can incorporate it into who they are as a professional, high-achieving person. So I really love that. Where can people find you? Now, I know people are like, oh my goodness, I've got to sign up and go to Paris. It's too late to go this year because she's actually leaving. Malvina's leaving in a couple days for Paris. Where can people find you for your retreats and other things?
Certainly. So my website, malvinamessler.com.
In the show notes.
Yes. Also on Instagram and on LinkedIn, also under malvinamessler.com. And in a book, Becoming You.
Absolutely. Available now on Amazon. Now, I ask this question to everyone, but in a little bit of a different way. You have been given carte blanche. They call you Paris, we're putting a marquee on the top of the Eiffel Tower. Mm-hmm. And we would like you to bless us with your favorite quote and saying. What would it be?
Oh, well, how you love yourself is how you teach others to love you.
Beautiful. It's got it on one side and it's got two Eiffel Tower. Now they have the second one, so they'll put part of the message on the first and on the other. How you see yourself is how you love you.
How you love yourself is how you
love
teach
yourself
others to
is
love
how
you.
you teach others. How you love yourself is how you teach others. Okay,
yes.
Imprint that, Wendy. Imprint it. Imprint it. Amazing. Thank you so much for being here today and taking time out of your schedule while you're here in South Florida.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun. To more collaborations, and I can't wait to hear about your next book.
Thank you, Malvina.